Anyway, I'll call this one part 2 of my update, just because my video stopped randomly at 20 minutes or something. And that's probably too long for YouTube anyways, but I'm going to do an update. Just, I don't know, talk. Self-therapize. Therapize? That's not a word. Self-therapize. It's not that late. Well, it's after midnight where I'm at. I don't know if I'm talking to anybody out there in YouTube land, and I don't even know if anybody listens to me anymore, and I guess I don't care. That's why I don't do videos much anymore, but I'm considering doing videos. I made a list of over 50 stories I wanted to tell from my younger years, my crazy years, Some of them would be from when I started doing YouTube videos, but I have a lot of years before that are wild. I was almost for 10 years and hitchhiked all over the United States and did all kinds of crazy shit when I was younger. And did drugs and got in fights and drank all night and many times. And just didn't plan on living this long. Nor probably should have I. Nor probably should have I. Or should I have. Or whatever. I am lucky to have gotten as far as I have. And grateful some days. Some days I just wish I wasn't, though, either. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's hard being alive. You all know it. I guess that's what I was trying to talk about for the video cut off, was body modification. I don't regret my body mods, but I know that it's part of the reason why I want to get a master's degree, because even with the bachelor's degree in psychology, it's going to be hard with all the face tattoos for people to take me seriously. I probably could still get a job in case management or something like that. I don't know. I guess I'll find out. And that's the other part of me that none of this department or people that I am with understand, is I actually have an axe to grind with psychology. I don't like the experiences I've had with psychologists in the past, and some of that stuff I'm going to be writing about and trying to understand. I guess that was part of the reason why I got into psychology. I wanted to understand my interactions in the past with my family, first and foremost, and taking psychology has helped me to understand a lot of my childhood a lot better, and understand and have empathy, not necessarily like empathy to the point where I forgive them and want to, embrace them and have them in my life anymore, but empathy in that I understand why they did what they did, because it wasn't their fault. Like, they weren't given the tools, they didn't have the knowledge, they were reacting to their own trauma and childhood stuff that happened to them, my mom and dad and my brother, and just life. So, and even my cousin, for that matter, and the shitty stuff family members have done to me, even in the past 5-6 years. So I don't regret studying psychology for that, because it's given me a map to kind of research stuff on my own too, and understand it just for me, because it doesn't matter if anybody else. I'm not at a point in my studying of psychology where I'm responsible for somebody else's therapy or answers to helping them, deal with their own shit. I'm not. Nor am I even close. Nor even if I got a master's degree, I don't even know if I would be able to do that. I don't know if I should do that. I don't, do that. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to lead. Part of me, a good chunk of me, just is going to school because I got nothing else to do, and I love to learn. I'm curious about human behavior in the mind, and they're giving me money. I mean, I'm going to keep taking their money, and I get good grades. I'm a junior now. I haven't gotten to B yet. I've withdrawn a couple semesters because of bullshit, but every semester I've gotten to the end, I've gotten all A's. And this last semester was actually the toughest semester for me to do that, because I had a lot of papers due, and I took a criminal justice class, which was the first time that every week I had supplemental reading along with the book that we were assigned. I had to read a book to write it. I had to read a book, and then at the end of the semester write a paper on that book. I had to read the book that was assigned to the class, which was separate from the book I had to read to write the paper at the end. And on top of that, every week, the teacher assigned supplemental reading for this women and crime class. That was like a research study or an in-depth, analyzation of statistics. It was not fun stuff. In fact, it was boring, a lot of it, but I learned how to push through it. And some of the stuff I thought initially that was super fucking boring, and some of these studies were like 60 pages long. So sit down and try to read, and, I can get through the abstract. And I've learned after now reading enough of this research stuff that I'm never going to remember all the statistics or the pie charts or the fucking graphs or the goddamn 35 people associated with the study's names. And so my brain just shuts that shit off and gets to the meat of it. And a lot of times I'll look at the abstract and look at the conclusion or, the findings at the end of it first. And then I'll go back and read it. And then, it's taken me sometimes 3 days to get through some of the supplemental reading for that class. It took me like 3 days. I would get like 15 pages in and be like, oh, I can't do this today. It'd take me like an hour to read fucking 10 pages. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so fucking boring. Or you're reading like 2 pages and you realize you comprehended none of it because your brain is thinking about like, a ball joint doll that you're carving at home, or like your cat's water bowl, or did you make your bed, or is the coffee pot, is the water distiller have the glass thing under it, and is it dripping on the floor? Like, I get distracted. So, but what I did, the hack I did this semester is every book I could get in physical form, I got in physical form, and I ate those books. The books for class, I literally tore chapters out one at a time every fucking week and put them in so I could hold them. And I would walk around the Coliseum or the Union, it's called, this big area, and read. So I would like get my steps in while reading, because that's why I would tear it out of the book, so I wouldn't have to hold a big heavy book. I would just have the 30 or 40 pages for that chapter that I would have to read, staple it together. I learned to staple it because the first couple weeks I actually lost a page trying to fucking just read a couple pages at a time. So I'll staple the chapter together and then just walk and read every semester. That's what I do now. If I can get a physical book, I'll get the physical book and tear out the pages, because I don't resell my books. I keep all my books for reference. And I think starting next semester, starting this summer here in a few weeks, I'm actually going to start taking notes, because I have yet to take notes or even study for anything. And it's starting to get to where there's some interesting concepts that, luckily in psychology, they've hammered, some of their theories and some of the foundational, old white dead motherfuckers that came up with these ideas. They've hammered enough of that into me where I'm starting to remember, what I mean, who invented cognitive behavior therapy and what, all the different stuff, because every class, whether it's intro to psychology or social psychology or abnormal psychology or like, cognitive psychology, they all kind of draw off the same 10 dudes, which is good but also bad, because there's a lot of psychologists out there. I'm learning on my own research on YouTube and reading and doing the whole Google search on topics, that there's a lot more current psychologists and a lot more current theories and studies that they don't study. And I'm hoping when I get to grad school, I'll get to more of some of the cutting edge stuff. And most of the current ones base it off of earlier concepts or, the foundational stuff. So that's been good. But I think I'm going to have to start finally taking notes and studying to continue on and do well. I've written the coattails of my actual natural intelligence up to this point, and now to continue to get A's, it's going to get tougher. And if I ever get into grad school, then I'm really going to have to study. And I dedicate 4 hours, 5-6 days a week to my studies every day. I'm at the school walking and reading and doing and studying and reading, and most of my classes I take online now because I can self-regulate and I'm self-disciplined. I do miss the lectures, but I find actually my time is more valuable on my own, because teachers waste a lot of my time by canceling classes without not giving me notice, or just the general waste of time. I don't know, it's just, there's a lot. Even if you got an hour and 15-minute class, you're only getting taught about 45 minutes of that hour and 15-minute class. They got to take attendance. There's just a lot of cumulative time wasting when you actually attend a class. So I'm considering taking 2 in-person classes next semester, because one's that history class that I talked about. That teacher, it'd be fun to listen to him for an hour talk about his connection, and because he's a PhD in history, and he's into mysticism. So I would like to see how how he approaches his knowledge base of mysticism in comparison to history. And then the other one is the intimate behavior class in psychology, which is taught by the head of the department, and she's wonderful. She's one of the few people there that actually is a pro, like a professional. And actually the whole department's very professional, but some of them are unauthentic. They try very hard to seem authentic, but once you scratch the surface and the mud comes off, you see there's just dirt underneath. It's not just mud from the mud flaps flapping on the fucking metal. It's actually still dirt underneath. And everybody is like that at a certain point, but some people try really hard to be something they're not, and it's apparent after a while, because you get to see that the who they really are starts coming through. And it's just hard being, as they call me, a non-traditional student. That just means, in my case, I'm fucking old. So it's kind of hard to be in your 40s and go to class. The first couple of semesters I did do that, and they would put this, I would sit in the back, and I stopped doing that after the first semester, because I would sit in the back and just observe, and I realized that these 20-year-olds, man, they put their computer in front of them. Everybody brings computer class. And I literally, one of my classes, my art history class one time, there was a computer in front of this kid. He was doing like Minecraft on a split screen on his computer. So he was like Minecrafting while he was fighting this fucking troll with this laser sword thing. And then he had a little thing up here, and he was like editing his Spotify list. And he had a headset in, and he had his phone in front of the computer, and he was fucking texting people. And I'm like, how the fuck are you even paying attention to this teacher that's spent like, over 10 years of his life studying the history of this Renaissance movement in art, and telling us his love of, this particular artist, and all the references to the it's just going in depth, and nobody's listening. I was like the only guy like listening to these teachers. Some classes I would go to class because everybody else was so fucking checked out. They were present, but they were not present at all. And it just made me feel old, because I bring my phone to class, and I have a computer, but if I go to class, I don't know if I even take my computer out of my fucking bag. In fact, most days I don't think I take my computer in class. I do if I'm going to study on my own, but I would never take a computer and open it up and put it in front of me, and then put my phone in front of it, and then I'll take my phone, but my phone pisses me off nowadays. I watched a movie where they said, I forget what movie it was, but the guy said, you know how in the 50s you see everybody smoking, in all the movies about the 50s, everybody smoking cigarettes, just fucking chain smoking, from doctors to fucking pilots in planes, and everybody's just smoking nonstop. Like, that was just the thing in the 50s. And now we look back and we go, that was stupid. That was unhealthy. That was not good. In this movie, I forget what movie it was. If I thought about it longer, I probably could remember. But he said, we're going to look back at these and feel the same way one day, because these things suck. They were fun for the first 2-3 years. That's why I got on YouTube, is because I got a smartphone. I got a smartphone in 2011, 2012, right? Or 2012, right? And the first thing I did is get on YouTube. The first thing I did is do that first video I did on my fucking channel that has the most views ever. It was like my first video was my best, and it was why I tattooed my face. And it's gotten, I don't know, over 10,000 views or some crazy amount. Way more than any other video. Way more than probably all my other videos combined. Go figure. The first one was the best for me. So, but now I have this thing set to do not disturb all the fucking time. That's what this button, I hate it. I can't figure out how to turn shit off. Like, I get Google ads now for Google fucking stupid games. I don't know how to turn that shit off. I've done everything. Factory reset. I've tried everything. I get so much spam calls on my phone now. I don't even answer my phone anymore. I get so much crap in my email. I don't even fucking check my email half the time. So this whole idea of efficiency and how it connects us all closer, it's becoming a joke. Like, I don't fucking answer my phone anymore. You send me an email, I might get it. If it goes to my school email, I'll definitely check it. But if it comes to my personal email, there's a chance I'm going to erase it because I'm erasing all the other bullshit because I've had my same email for fucking piratewizarddragon@gmail.com. It's been my same fucking email for Jesus Christ, man. Since I first got an email, which was, I don't even remember, in the 90s or something. So anyways, that's just a short rant about technology and how being a non-traditional student, it's just weird. Like, 20-year-olds to me are weird now, and I guess I was weird to 40-year-olds when I was 20. I know I was. But I try, and to segue off the last video, and I'm a little worried this video is going to cut me off here in fucking 5 minutes like the last one did. I don't know if there's like a max thing on my computer that shuts it off. I don't know. But tried so hard the first couple years in college to, like, I don't know, be part of the whole college thing experience, you know. And now I don't care. I don't care. I've accepted a lot of things about growing old. And one of them is I'm not fucking cool anymore. And that's cool with me. Like, I don't have to be fucking to try as hard. I tried really hard when I was trying to be cool, and I think I was pretty cool. I think I still am pretty cool, but it's all subjective, and, you know, I'm not objective in my subjective appraisal of my coolness anymore, and I just don't fucking care. Like, I don't. It's too fucking much work, man. It's too much goddamn work to play the game anymore. Like, God, I don't even understand people date anymore. Like, me and my wife have an open kind of marriage, so, you know, I've tried to date. Why? Like, she has better luck with this sometimes, but not really. And is it because I'm old? Because I'm 48? Because I look like a rejected Jim Henson Muppet? I'm sure that's some of it. I scare people because of this. They see this, and if anything, that's what this has taught me, tattooing my face, is that we are very shallow, superficial creatures, including myself. Like, we judge instantly off of somebody's looks, even if we try not to, and even if you consciously try not to, you still do. It's almost like it's biological in the way we are. We have to, because it's just so programmed into us as a creature. And that's not bad, it's not good, but it is kind of bad, and it's made me who I am, because I know I'm always fighting against, like, preconceived notions. When somebody first meets me, they're going to have, you know, a slew of things that they've been programmed to think about people that are heavily tattooed, or just general misconceptions, and some of those things actually are correct for some people, but for me, I haven't done prison time, I haven't killed anybody, I don't sacrifice goats in my backyard to the devil, I don't cook up crystal meth in my bathtub. These are all things that they may think about me, even though they're not true. I've never done any of those things, ever. You know, I've smoked a bunch of weed, and I don't even do that anymore, because I live in Kansas, so. Anyways, this is just part 2 of me catching up. I still would like to make more videos, and I don't know, I'm considering telling my stories, and then feeding them into these apps now that can take a video and turn it into a transcript, and then I'm going to run that through, clean it up. I'm considering finishing my book. I had like 150 pages that I typed out, but I'm much better of a speaker and storyteller than I am a written storyteller, and a lot of times when I write my stories, I try to make them sound like I'm telling the story anyways. So, and I got like a third of the way through writing a book, and then school takes a hell of a lot of my time now. I don't get, at the end of the summer, I'll get a couple weeks before the fall semester starts, and I'll finally be able to take a break. But I've got to write. I'm rewriting a paper for an academic journal, and I'm trying to test out a math class. I've got all this other stuff I'm doing before my summer classes even start, and I just don't have the time. I'm not tattooing anymore. I paint. I do some artistic stuff. I actually started modifying custom figures and dolls just for fun, like, because I can carve on them and I can create stuff for them. I got into ball joint dolls a few years ago, and actually not a few years ago, last year. Went to a convention, saw all the possibilities, because I used to modify 1/12 scale and 1/6 scale figures, but some of these suckers are big. Like, I've got a 1/3 scale chicken foot. I call him the chicken guy. He's got chicken feet, and I'm working on. I'm making him these techno wings, and I'm making a big beak mask that he wears, and that's what I do with my artistic stuff now. I'm not painting as much. I have half a dozen paintings I need to finish that are huge, but I couldn't sell my art. I got to, I made money when I tattooed. People pay money for a tattoo, but it's really hard to sell big paintings, even if they're good. And I think a lot of my paintings I think are beautiful. They're hanging in my house, in my living room. My best paintings are hanging in my own living room. And I just got tired of doing art, trying to sell it. And now all the art I do is for me. Like every ounce of creativity I put into a piece of art is for my own pleasure. And it makes it so much more fulfilling. And I don't have a lot of time to do art, so any time I have to do art, it's going to be on something I really fucking want to do. Like, I don't do commissions anymore. I had to tell this girl that I told a couple years ago she wanted me to work on this mermaid drawing for her, and at that point I was still kind of tattooing a few people here and there. And I had to tell her, I ran into her a couple weeks ago, and she's like, oh, I still want to see what you do with that mermaid. And I'm just like, I'm never going to do it. I'm sorry. Like, just to be honest with you, I don't have the time. And the time that I do have to do art, I'm not going to spend it on your art. I'm sorry. Everything I do now is purely selfish in the art realm for my own just fun. Because the little bit of free time I have for creativity, and with my hand strength and my wrists are being all fucked up and arthritis and every goddamn bone, it was like any energy I put into art is going to be for something I love, period. It's not going to be for other people. So that just changed my whole way of, approaching art. And I went to school for art for like 2 years, and it almost destroyed my love and joy of art, academia, because the way they just shit up, they systematically destroy the love of art and the joy of creation and turn it into something sick in a way. Almost every academic person I've met that studies art in a college setting to create art, not for art history, but to create art, it's what I would define as the opposite of living. It's almost like evil. It's like living backwards. It's just evil what they do to art and to art students, and it made me almost walk away from art completely. So before that happened, that's when I decided to just not give a fuck about what anybody thought with my art anymore and just create for myself. And so that's what I do now with my art. I don't create for other people anymore. And because of that, I don't get a lot done, and I'm hoping to return to it one day. I'm hoping I have time to do some of the stuff that I really want to do. I really would like to finish painting a series of tarot cards that I started, and I have all kinds of I got a list, like 100 different art projects that I've listed out that I'd like to do, but I don't know if I'll get to all of them. I don't know if I'll have time in this lifetime. I think I just hit that button by accident, is what I did, because I was fucking around. That's why the video got cut short. But just wanted to say hi. I know there's probably like 3 of you out there that when you see my video you watch it. Maybe. I don't know. And like I said, maybe it's just a form of self-therapy that I'm indulging myself in by talking to myself. I haven't done this for a while. I used to really enjoy doing videos, and I've learned a lot the past few years, though, about myself and school, and not just because I'm studying psychology, just, when you set yourself up when your identity is so based on like an occupation or like what you do, and then you are forced to abandon that, it makes you kind of know yourself a little better. Because Jason Lamb is not a tattoo artist. Jason Lamb is not an artist. Jason Lamb is not a student. I'm much more than all those labels. And one thing I can say positive about school that people don't think about, and that I've thought about lately, is that everybody going to school, almost everybody going to school, almost 95% of the people going to school, including the teachers, including, the staff, including, even some of the people that just participate in the function of assisting, like janitors, and almost everybody that goes there is trying to better their life in a way, or doing something to better people that are trying to better their life. So that makes it an environment that fosters hope, because almost everybody that goes to college is trying to make their future better and trying to learn a skill or a knowledge base that'll make things easier for them even if it's in the superficiality of just making more money and getting the skills in order to make their life better in the future by acquiring the knowledge that gives them access to the jobs that will pay them more money. Sure, that's what everybody is told, that's what you have to do to make money. But there's also this like thing that happens when you go to school and you take classes that you never thought you'd be interested in. If you just start taking random classes, you find stuff. People find passions they didn't know they had. And you're in an environment where everybody's seeking like knowledge and a purpose. And it's a unique environment. It's unlike any I've been in. And I kind of like it. I like being in school again. And I like that it's way different than it's way different than high school or junior high and that bullshit, because you can get involved in the social drama if you want to and all that stuff, but it's all optional. Like, I was part of a couple clubs early on, and I'm not part of those now. And I might join the psychology club or the NAMI club next semester again, or hell, I might even start a fucking occultic club again. I don't know. I started Seekers of the Occult at the first community college I went to, just to be a thorn in the religious people's side. Which this school I go to now, Fort Hayes here, has a lot of fucking religious Catholic fucking bullshit. But I try not to get sucked into all the drama because I'm not 20. I don't fucking care. Like, I don't care. I don't care about that. I don't go to the karaoke and all that. I mean, they do a bunch of stuff with the students. It's fun. I like to observe some of it sometimes. If it just happens to be in my path that I'm going on for that day, I'll, watch the Greek fucking sororities all compete. They have this, especially like this last semester, they always have this like week where they call it Greek week or some shit, where all the sororities and fraternities like compete out on the quad and do stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like fucking tug of war and water balloon games and silly stuff that 20-year-olds do for fun. But you don't have to do any of that. You can just go to college, keep your nose to the grind, and fucking go to school. But what I did learn is that there's no guarantee. It's not. I thought you get a bachelor's degree, then you just keep going, get a master's. I thought it was like when you're done with the third grade, you go to the fourth grade. That's not how it works in college. Like, I was talking to the head of the department 2 semesters ago, and I was telling her, oh yeah, maybe when I'm done getting my bachelor's, I'll go get my graduate. She's like, that's not how it works. You have to apply. And we don't take everybody that applies. We only take 25% of the students that apply for online for our in-person graduate school. For the online one, we take about 33%, about a third. And just because you got a 4.0 doesn't mean you get into grad school. Like, you got to do other shit. You got to volunteer. You got to get published. So that's why I'm playing these other games that I didn't know you had to do. I didn't know that was important. There's this whole concept in academia, publish or perish, which I didn't know about any of that bullshit. And a lot of these publications, nobody reads them. It's just for academia. Nobody sits around and reads academic journals. Like, shit's boring half the time. It doesn't matter. So it's just, as I like to say, a bunch of mental masturbating circle jerk and silliness, but it's important. So I'm learning to write better in the APA, the American Psychology Association way of writing, or whatever the fuck it stands for. And that's what I won the award in, because I did a good job. It's just a formulaic way of writing that's soul-sucking and non-emotional. It's almost like writing a fucking attorney argument. It's not fun, but it's necessary, and I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn it well, and I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm working on a paper this next week. I'm dedicating the lion's share next week to rewriting a paper I already wrote to get it into this undergraduate journal, so that I can say I'm published and I can put it up. Because when you apply, it's just like applying for a job. You got to list all the bullshit you've done. I was already president of a student government association at another school, so I can put that on there. I'm part of the honors college. I can put all this stuff on this stupid application and my 4.0 GPA, and then hopefully get into a graduate program where I can continue on with my education and get a master's degree in clinical psychology. Which, if I do that here in this state, I'll be a licensed clinical psychologist. I don't know if that's going to happen. Fuck. Nobody knows the future. It's all hope, which is nice to be in an environment where everybody is hopeful for the future. The nukes could go off right before the election or right after the election. Or, Trump could get in there and decide that he's going to fucking, turn us into Russia. He's going to go be buddies with Putin, and we're going to now be, Russia too. I don't fucking know. Who knows? I don't. Nobody knows. Everybody's kind of guessing and hedging their bets, but I'm hoping. I'm hoping that one of the main reasons why I'm going to college is I was not wise when I was younger with my money, and I don't have a lot of money. And even though I made some money while I was tattooed, I spent it all. Like, I have no fucking money. I mean, I have some trinkets, but the future, the thing I've said a lot is the future is expensive, and it's just getting more expensive. And my health, and I'm lucky to have bought a home here in Kansas. Like, we got a home for less than $100,000. It's beautiful, 2-story, 4-bedroom, 7,000 square foot lot. I've got a backyard, I've got a garage, I've got 2 sheds. That's when we moved here from Colorado, because I couldn't buy a fucking doghouse in Colorado for less than $100,000. I've got a nice house here, and it's even since we moved here, this house is now worth $140,000. It's like, what? So it's crazy. Like, I can't even imagine how much shit is going to cost in 10 years. Like, right now, I don't even do shit anymore. Like, I don't go out to do stuff, because I will never go see a band if I could buy, and here I'm going to date myself because you can't even buy CDs anymore, but I used to have a rule. If I could buy every one of the band's, studio albums, not their live remixes or fucking Christmas special remixes, every one of their studio albums I could buy, they don't call them albums. Now you download that shit, but if I could download every fucking song that an artist has released for the price, for less than a price of seeing them in like the first 10 rows, then I'm not gonna fucking go see a band. Because first of all, I'm not paying $150 to see anybody ever. I just don't want to do that. And $150 doesn't get you a good ticket anymore. Like, if you want to be in the first 10 rows, and like maybe enjoy the show and not be in the nosebleeds, like where Ozzy Osbourne looks like a fucking, is that Ozzy or is that his doppelganger? I can't tell. Like, you gotta have a good seat. Like, I like good seats. I'm a snob about when I used to go to shows, and I can't afford them anymore. And nor would I want to. I don't want to pay $500 to see some has-been rocker, and I'm not into any of the new shit. So all the people I want to see are old, and they're charging more. The older they get, the more money they charge. The first time I saw Weird Al Yankovic, it was $20. Last time I saw him, I took my wife. It was $150 each for us to get a ticket. It was ridiculous. Like, maybe it wasn't $150. It was close to. It was over $100 for each ticket, but I got us good tickets. Like we were close to the front. But now, like, I don't want to do that anymore. So I got fences that need to be built in my yard, and windows that need to be replaced, and adult things that cost money, including medical fucking shit that's probably gonna inevitably happen to me because I lived like a fornicating pirate for the first 30 years of my life, and my body is paying the price now. And like, that's why my diet is radically changed, and I have a lot of physical problems because of poor decisions I made when I was younger. So, I mean, I'm not an old man yet, but I sure the fuck ain't no spring chicken no more. I turned 48 in April, and I cannot believe I'm 2 years away from 50. I mean, I don't feel like I look 48 years old, but tomorrow morning when I wake up and my neck's all fucked up from doing this video and the way I sleep, like, I'm gonna feel it. So that's part of the reason I'm going to college, is that I'm hoping to get an education that'll help me get a job in some capacity. If I got a master's degree in psychology, it might help me get a better paying job when I'm older. Make sure the fuck can't hurt, And if that doesn't work, then it's back to robbing and mobbing. No, I'm just kidding. It's back to, I don't know. Like, I used to hustle when I was younger. I spent a year of my life dressing like a pirate and playing an accordion in Boulder, Colorado on Pearl Street. So I just don't know if I could do that anymore. I mean, I guess I can be a traveling mystic when I'm old. People would believe that shit probably if I wore like a cloak and, read tarot cards. But I just don't feel like that's going to pay well when I'm old. You know what I mean? I want to make some actual fucking money. So that's part of the reason why I'm going to college. We'll see. I mean, it's multi-layered, as everything is. But let's wrap this up because it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I got to get up early. I need to start a routine again. But I just wanted to say hi. If you got this far in part 2, leave a comment with the word Alakazam. And that way I know you actually listen to the whole video. So I like to do that stuff just for fun. And I'll try to do another video before my summer classes start on June 3rd. And I'm actually going to try to schedule this summer, because I'm only taking 2 classes, at least 2 days a week of writing, which means doing videos. I'm going to do videos where I tell stories, and then I'm going to upload them, edit them, blah, 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 blah. But maybe some of those I'll, like, edit to where I don't include the whole, like, because I'm going to try to sell this book down the road, so I don't want to give all the content away for free, but I don't fucking care about selling it either. Some of these stories are going to be fucking hilarious, and some of them are going to be sad. They're all going to be true they're going to be my truth and what I remember, and that's the thing, like, I don't have to fucking make shit up, I don't have to lie, like, and that's the reason why I want to write these stories. There's only been 2 memoirs that I read that were way more fucked up than my own life, and that was Danny Trejo's fucking book, his book that I read it. I listened to him read it aloud on Audible, and it was fucking great, man. Like, I laughed out loud so many times at parts that weren't supposed to be funny, but like, his book is great. Like, I loved that book that Danny Trejo did, and this one wasn't funny. I didn't laugh at that one because it was sad. But one called Educated, that memoir was really sad, and that girl actually had a more fucked up childhood than my own, and a more oppressive religious, similar though, like, it was a later generation. Like, her dad was with the Y2K, and she was a child when Y2K went on, so different than the fundamentalist craziness of the 80s when I was a child. So that was the other one. But like, I read Marilyn Manson's book years ago, and I was like, this is fucking weak sauce. Like, this is what made fucking Marilyn Manson? That guy's he's a wimp then, because the shit he went through is nothing compared to the shit I went through. So once I read Marilyn Manson's memoir, I really wanted to write, because it made me realize that it's multi-layered, as in everything. It's I realized that the stuff I went through, it's extreme, but I also realized other people experience similar things. Other people can relate to it, and lucky to be here. Like, my story should be told, because a lot of people that went through what I went through didn't survive, didn't make it this far, didn't get educated like I'm doing right now, didn't have the opportunities to live a better life, and I have gratitude for that. There still is a lot of shit I'm dealing with from my childhood and trauma, and my past, and just abuse and just fucked up shit. We all have that, it's different levels. Some people, what affects some people doesn't affect other people, and I have also the gift of intelligence and resilience. I've been gifted with those 2 things. And I'm not even humble. I'm just bragging. I feel like I'm intelligent. I'm not the smartest fucking guy in the world. Obviously, I'm not the dumbest guy in the world either. But I feel like I'm a little smarter than a lot of people that I meet, and that's been a blessing and a curse. But it's helped me get this far and make a little better decisions. I think my intelligence, not always. And people would look at me and go, yeah, right, buddy. You ain't fooling nobody. You've just fooled yourself. And that might be true. But I definitely have had resilience. I definitely have bounced back quicker and been able to, like that Batman movie where he's like, why do we get knocked down, Mr. Wayne, or whatever? It's so we can learn to pick ourselves up. Like, I embraced that as a child. Like, I got knocked down a lot. Literally, figuratively, metaphorically. And I still am. And I still do. And every time, and I may bitch and moan, I may lay on the floor and fucking weep, but after a while, sitting there alone in the dark by myself, I go, you know what? Let's do it again, one more time, and I get back up, because what's the option? I'm not ready to die yet. I'm not yet. There's been some days where I've been close. There's some days I really fucking tried. I chased the Grim Reaper when I was younger, and now I fucking run from that motherfucker. I ain't ready to die. So I continue on. I'm lucky. And I'm going to write about some of my crazy stories, because the shit that's happened to me is, looking back with the knowledge I have now, is unbelievable. I'm very lucky, very, very lucky to be alive. And I know I've explained white privilege to people in that if I wasn't white, I wouldn't be alive. Because the things I did and the things I said when I was younger to cops, if I was a different shade, would have gotten me shot or killed. And the only reason I didn't get shot or killed is because of white privilege. Because there's a certain privilege that comes with being a white male, and I recognize that. Even as a teenager, I recognize that because I used it. So I want to write about stuff. I don't know if anybody will care, or if they'll just look at it like a time capsule piece, because some of it's so bizarre, man. The 90s in Southern California, holy shit, that's what I learned about my drug. And that was mind-blowing, my drugs and behavior class this semester, because I learned that, statistically speaking, violent crime was the worst in the 90s. That statistically speaking, we actually have a safer society. Although the media, hypes on the fucking shit a little more and they focus on the violence and it's in our face and we're more aware of it thanks to, these things. Statistically speaking, violence was at its all-time high in the 90s, and statistically speaking, the most drugs ever flooded into the fucking country in regards to like crystal meth was in the fucking 90s in Southern California, where I was living. So like those two things combined, being homeless in the 90s in LA and San Diego County, where I ran around from like 15 to 25, like it makes so much come into perspective when you study it in college. You're like looking at the facts and the statistics and watching documentaries about how like the cartel smuggled in like 1 billion hits of, crystal meth in a like 2-week period into LA County. Like, the shit that I saw, like there were so many tweakers just wandering about in San Diego County when I was homeless that you never fucking knew what was around the corner. Like you literally had to watch your 6 and your 3 and your noon and your fucking, your 9. You had to watch every point on the clock because your head had to be in a constant swivel, especially after dark in some parts of San Diego and LA. Because you just never knew. You never knew what was coming around the corner. And I look back and I laugh about it, but it wasn't fun a lot of times. And being homeless as a teenager and in my 20s, I romanticize it because what else can I do with that? But it sucked a lot of times too. But anyways, I want to tell some of those stories. Why not? So, and I'm gonna. So, if you made it this far, like I said, Alakazam. And I know a lot of you followed me because I was into the tattoo thing, which I hyper fixated on, and I tried my best for over a decade. I tried my best to become a tattoo artist, and I did. So I did that dream, but I moved here and it changed. Like Kansas changed me into a different person, and I don't care about tattooing anymore as much as I did. So if you follow me because of that, and now I don't do that, I'm sorry. I still want to get more tattoos. I got plenty of flesh left to tattoo, and I don't know if I'll even finish. I'm hoping to get a little healthier and a little stronger and start getting a little more physically active. And then once that happens, maybe I'll start. I think last year was the first year I didn't actually get a professional tattoo. I tattooed myself, but I didn't go to a shop and get any tattoo work done. And I don't care anymore. Like I do, I miss it. I miss tattoo. I miss a lot of the world and I don't know. There's a lot to love about tattooing, and I will always love tattooing. Obviously, it's taught me a lot about myself and about other people. I learned more about people tattooing than I ever did about art. So I still, I don't know. I look back on it fondly and wish sometimes it would have. I wish I would have. I don't know. I have regrets. I wish I would have done things differently. I wish I would have, But I absolutely know if I didn't quit tattooing, that I would have plateaued and I would have not grown as a person. And by quitting tattooing, I went back to school. My yearning for knowledge it's been activated again, and it's not just in the world of tattooing. Now I want to know so much more and studying. And like I said, every time I take a class in the department, I want to have like 6. I wish I could live to be 1,000 so I could get a bachelor's degree and everything, because I love my undergraduate studies thus far, and I've enjoyed going to college. It sucked a lot of times too, though. I mean, it's like 51% good most of the time, and sometimes it's 51% or 85% suck ass. But all that, with the right perspective, I could put aside and look at the value of it and realize that it's more valuable than it is not. And all that comes with the perspective. And that's one of the things I've learned about everything in life, is that just like that Harry Potter hair tattoo I talked about, it's all perspective. Like, you can see how it looks like a dragon flying over a moon too, but it's also Harry Potter's hair. So like, it's all perspective, you know? It's all how you look at things. And that's where I'm at right now in life. So thanks for listening to me rant for 45 minutes along with the part 1, which is 20 minutes. So I gave you an hour of my life again, YouTube. And I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again. And I'll do a video. I'll try to not make it be over a year before I do a video again. Bye. Pyro Wizard Dragon signing off.